Given that the reserve price has not been met, the consultations have been declared unsuccessful. The LFP gives itself 48 hours to define the next steps to take in the commercialization of its rights.
Well, for more on this, Kieran Maguire joins us now from Manchester. He's a sports finance specialist at the University of Liverpool. Welcome back to the program, Kieran. Now, you and I have spoken a few times about the impact the pandemic has had on the bottom lines of various football clubs and sporting codes, but it seems that it's now crunch time for French football. Who do you think has moved wrongly here? Is French football asking too much for these rights, or are the TV companies simply just not willing to pay enough?
I think it's a game of chess between the two parties involved. The French football authorities, they have a belief in the market value of French football, and therefore they've tried to negotiate prices which they feel are fair with the likes of Amazon and DAZN and Discovery. These OTT platforms, they see football very much as a complementary product rather than as an essential one, and they've made their offers accordingly. I think the big challenge has been the fact that MediaPro have decided to pull out of the existing arrangement. With football clubs getting no money coming in through ticket sales, it means that they became over-reliant on broadcasting income, and with no broadcast partner, I think we're now in a crisis point.
Yes, despite the lack of audiences for this season, you would think that millions of people would still be tuning in on television to watch these games. Would that be the case, do you think?
In the main, viewing figures have held up, but there is anecdotal evidence that unless the matches are between two sides who are actively competing at the top of the table, because the matches are taking place in empty stadiums, the lack of atmosphere at the games has contributed towards a fall in viewing figures for some of the less well-established clubs. And we've also got to take into consideration that with so many people being out of work as a result of the pandemic, when people are looking to cut their personal costs, football subscriptions are becoming, unfortunately, higher up the list of things which have to go, because people are focusing on essentials.
Now, the French Football League says it's given itself 48 hours to decide what it'll do next in terms of these rights. What do you think will happen, and what should they agree on?
I suspect there'll be discussions with government. It would be very embarrassing, I think, for France if the football is suspended, but also if secondly clubs went out of business as a result of this. Everybody takes pride in their domestic football arrangements, and if France was seen as the first country to fall with regards to some of the consequences of COVID, I think it would be embarrassing. So I suspect the FFP will have discussions with the French government with a view to perhaps some form of government grants, ideally, if not some form of long-term loans at low interest rates, which have to be repaid over a significant period of time. Failure to arrange that, whilst clubs such as PSG will be fined due to the wealth of their owners, it will then come down to clubs either having to rip up contracts with players because they're unable to afford to carry them on, and trying to put themselves into hibernation with a hope of allowing French football to return at a later date.
Some incredible potential consequences there. Let's see what happens. Kieran Maguire, thank you so much again for joining us on the program.